Hello, my name is Karl Gerber, and I'm going to talk to you about how to get cheap Facebook ads. And I'm also going to talk about the power of Facebook in your ability to target the people that are most likely to purchase your product or service. Right now, more than any other ad platform out there, Facebook is able to help you find the audience you want to put your product in front of and target those audiences with your ad. In other words, if you sell products for a pet product, for example, but more than that, you sell pet products that are for Chihuahuas, you can target people who are interested specifically in Chihuahuas on Facebook. That makes for some powerful advertising. But first, let's look at how you can place an ad and the different ways that Facebook treats ads, so you can find the cheapest way to run your ad. What you're seeing right now, is a travel page that we threw up 2 or 3 years ago. I use this to experiment with different ad combinations for our clients to help them find the most effective ways of advertising and the cheapest way. So, if I'm a travel agency, for example, and I want to target people going to that would have an interest in Greece, in traveling to Greece, I might make some posts on my travel page like this, Mount Athens. Now, the copy, if this were an actual ad, I would probably have a little bit more appealing copy in addition to the image on here, but I'm just going to use this for an example so you can see. One thing never to do, never use this boost post. You will boost the post, but you'll be spending a lot of more money than you need to. Facebook will automatically boost the post, which is a type of ad. However, their default options aren't always the best and most economical way of placing ads. The other thing you want to be careful about, this button up here is new, relatively new. If you click on this, you'll see the drop-down Boost Latest Post, which is the same thing as Boost Post. Promote your page. Again, these are default ways of doing that. If you want to promote your page, which is another way of saying getting likes for your page, I have another video on that will show you a better way, and you'll be spending a lot less money than if you use Facebook's default. So never use these unless you want to be paying more than you'd like to. Send people to a website. Again, these are all default type of settings. Instead of these three, go to Advanced Options. And what you'll come to is what Facebook calls your campaign objective. Now, Facebook actually helps you out on this. Depending on what your goal is, choosing an objective is important. Page post engagement. This is what we would use when we make a post on a page, like, for example, the previous example of the picture of Athens, and we want to show that post to a number of people, which is a way of advertising, and maybe it has a information about a travel package that's coming up and you want to pique people's interest. You can promote that page post. Page likes. If you want to get more likes quickly on your page, which not only has the advantage of increasing your social proof, that is the number of people that look like your page has followers, it also increases your reach. Now, what reach is the number of people who actually see your page content. A lot of people are mistaken believe that if they have a lot of page likes, that a lot of people are going to see their page content. Not true. If you don't have an active page, if you don't have a page where people are liking your posts and commenting, sharing it, that type of thing, very little of your page content, no matter how many likes you have, will get to the news feed. And the news feed is where people actually see your information. Very few people go directly to your page. The home page of Facebook is the news feed. However, without page likes, you aren't going to get much content shown either. So you first have to start with page likes if you want your content shown. And the other benefit of having page likes is that if you have a steady stream of page likes coming into your page, it increases your reach. And the reason for that, somebody sees your page like ad, they click on that, their friends see that they liked the page, for example, in this case, a page on travel. Their friends may check out that page, which means now your content's being shown to the person's friends who originally liked the page. And then those friends may click on like as well if they like it. And there's a good chance, because they are your friends, that your interests are similar. That's what increases reach exponentially. So page like ads can be a good thing. I've done another video, though, on how to do it properly so that you can do it very inexpensively. Clicks to website, pretty self-explanatory here. If you have a post on your page and you want people to click on that and be taken to your website, you would make this as your objective. Website conversions, similar, except that, so you have a email opt-in form, or you have a sales page. You want people to click on your post on your Facebook page, and it'll take them to that page, either the sales page or maybe an opt-in form where you want to get their email address so you can start building a list. And then you have a secondary page on your website. Once they subscribe to your email list, they're forwarded to a secondary page, or once they make a purchase, they're forwarded to the checkout page, for example, or to the thank you page for purchasing. You can put a piece of code on there that Facebook gives you, and Facebook will track your conversions. Now, the reason why they give you these objections is that Facebook's computers actually help you optimize your campaigns, your ads, so they are targeted to people who, some people will never click on a post. Other people will like a post but maybe not click on it as often. Some people are more likely to purchase something from Facebook, and depending on the objective you have, you can use these different objectives. In this case, just to keep things simple, I'm going to be using page post engagement. That way we can use that post that's already on the travel page. So I click on that, go to travel, and there it is. This is the actual post that we had previously. Campaign name, it gives you a name. You can change this name if you want. Time zone, currency, self-explanatory. And here we are. All right. Now, if you look down here at the bottom, you'll see that post right here. All right. And that is what you're going to, this actually becomes your ad. Now, over to the right, this is an important little chart, interactive chart that Facebook gives you. What it shows is where you're targeting the ads. In other words, in this case, the default, because I'm in the USA, it's the United States, it gives you a default page range of 18 years to 65 years, placement on the news feed on desktop, computers, and mobile devices. And then it gives you this number, which is your reach. This is the number of people who can potentially, depending on your budget, see the ads. So as you say, for example, right now there's 172 million people who would see an ad, potentially see an ad that you ran on Facebook without specifying any interests or anything else. There's 172 million people who could potentially see that. If I change this age group, narrow it down to, say, to 24 years old, 24-year-olds to 65-year-olds, this changes from 170 million down to 144 million. Okay. The thing to keep in mind, I'm just going to set this at 21 right now, is that as far as advertising goes and the cost of ads on Facebook, generally speaking, the broader your target audience is, the cheaper the ads. So the bigger this number is, generally speaking, the cheaper the ads. Now, this isn't absolutely true. It depends on interest and things like that. However, it's a general rule to look at. However, you have to balance that with the type of people who are going to be seeing the ad, and if those people are going to be interested in what you're offering. Right now, this could be anybody in the U.S. between the ages of 21 and 65. They may or may not be interested in travel, so you could be wasting a lot of money on your ads because you haven't specified what they're interested in. Okay, before we talk about targeting, I want you to go down to a little bit further. And under budget is how much you want to spend per day, or there's also a lifetime budget, which I won't go into in this video. But there's a little link here that says Show Advanced Options. If I click on that, it says Optimize for Page Post Engagement. So that's the objective I want. Normally, when I actually run the ad, this is probably the best setting if that's what I want to do, if I want to have that particular post shown to the maximum number of people that are most likely to engage in the post. That is, to like it, to comment on it. That's what engagement is. So Facebook will show that particular post, or you could call it that is now also an ad, to people who are most likely to engage with it. Now, you want that engagement because the more people who engage on that post, with that post, the more Facebook will show that post to other people. Facebook has an algorithm, secret algorithm. They call it PageRank. And the higher the PageRank, the more likely Facebook will show that particular post, that content, to people in their news feeds. And how that algorithm that Facebook uses for their PageRank is, of course, top secret, although we do know that one of the largest factors in that is engagement. Facebook wants to show content that people are interested in. And one of the biggest indications of whether they're interested in it is whether they engage in the post or not. In other words, engagement being they like it, they comment on it, they click on it. Those are all forms of engagement. Sharing it's another way of engaging it. So Facebook will, if you leave this setting here as default, Facebook will do its best to optimize the ads to show to those people who tend to have higher engagement. In other words, people who interact with your ad more often. However, in order to see how certain parameters targeting changes the cost of your ad, for now we're going to click on this, get this drop down, and we're going to go down to Optimize for Clicks. This is the default. Optimize for impressions. Impressions are how many times the ad is actually shown, and Facebook shows the ad in blocks of 1,000, and if you choose to have a impression price structure, they will charge you X number of dollars or cents or whatever the currency happens to be for 1,000 impressions. The other way to do it is Optimize for Clicks. This is pay per click, and Facebook will charge you on a per click basis. For now, so that we can see how changing the targeting is affecting the cost of the ads, we want to say cost per click and then manually set your maximum bid per click. Now, when we actually run the ads, we'll probably set this back to the original optimize for page post engagement so that Facebook can help us in optimizing, but just so you can see and get a general idea of what it may cost you. Now, there's more factors than this. If you have a very interesting ad that people are going to engage in, a very interesting page post that people are going to engage in, your costs are going to come down substantially because Facebook's going to show it more often for less money. In fact, they'll give you free. They'll give you a certain percentage of free times it'll show that content to people. So it's more than this. But if you see here, now we can see where it says suggested bid, 24 cents to 54 cents US dollar. And that's what we want to look at when we're doing different parameters. As I said earlier, it's a balance between the cheapest ads and targeting to your right audience, because it's very important to target to your right audience so you don't waste money. You don't want to be showing your ad to people who may or may not have interest in it. You want to do, to the degree you can, show that content to people who are going to be interested in your product or your service. In this case, travel degrees, all right? So if we were an international company and we sold our product all over the world, we have the advantage of doing very broad targeting. So we could add, first look down here, 24 cents per click. That's the United States, age 21 to 65, both men and women. Let's add some more countries. Let's just add Philippines, Indonesia, even India. I'm just adding some countries with large populations that also have some English speakers in them. And of course, if we want to go strictly English speakers, we already have United States, but United Kingdom, we can go Australia, and so on. Now, by doing this, and let's just say within those countries, since our product is being sold, the ad is in English, the post is in English, let's just say we want to only target people who speak English. Now, although these people, their native language may or may not be English, they have indicated to Facebook that they speak English, so we can show our ad to them. As you can see, the reach is very high, and it went up from 144 million to 304 million people. Now, if we look down here, look how much it's dropped. We're down to 9 cents. Remember, we were about 22 cents, I believe, before. Now we're down to 9 cents per click. So you can see by making this, our audience, very broad, we brought down the cost of our ads. Let's say we're a local company and we're based in Los Angeles. So we'll get rid of these countries. And we'll say Los Angeles. Now we're down to 4.6 million people. And if we go down to Facebook's suggested bid, we're up to 26 cents. All right? So you can see the cost has been up, but even at 26 cents, compared to print advertising, that's not too bad. If you're getting people to, say, for example, if you had made this clicks to website, this isn't a bad number because you're actually getting people who engage compared to other forms of advertising like print advertising, where you really don't know for sure how many people actually see your ad. The newspaper or magazine can give you their circulation, but it doesn't mean that the people actually see it. Here, you're actually getting people to click on that, which means they're not only seeing it, but they're engaging in it. So that's not a bad price. But since we're doing travel, let's hone this down a little bit more. Under here, you see interests, and let's just put in travel. As I type in travel, it starts to show up here, and you can see to the right, in total on Facebook, there's 591, well, almost 592 million people who've indicated their interest in travel. That's a big audience. However, we're just doing Los Angeles at this time, so that number is going to come down. So this here now, it was 4.6 million people. When we put travel, it's down to 2.4 million people in Los Angeles who have indicated that they are interested in travel. Let's see how that changes our ad. Actually, not a whole lot, which is good, because what that's showing us is that we really haven't brought the cost of the ads up, even though we're honing down our audience, and that's what we want to do. Now, let's say we know that our audience is generally the people who have the disposable income to travel in our market are people that are at least 35 years of age and older. So we're going to change this from 21 to 35. All right? This brings us down now to 1,160,000 people. Let's see if it's had an impact. Yes, now you can see that the 24 cents is up to 28 cents. Still not a huge increase in your advertising, considering now you're targeting those people who are more likely, and you know this from your experience, you know your demographics, and the more you know your demographics, the more important that is, the more you're going to be able to show that ad to people who are specifically interested in what you're offering. You know that even though you're targeting that down, you're honing that down, it hasn't had a huge negative impact on the cost of your ads. It has gone up 4 cents or so. But let's say we're interested because we found that actually for our particular product, more women than men purchase it. So let's just go women. This brings us down to 640,000 people. Now we're really honing our ad down, being very much more specific about the type of person who's most likely to purchase what we have. Look down here to clicks. Now we're up to 30 cents. So we can see each time we hone it down, the cost goes up a little bit. And we can make a judgment call of whether it's worth the extra cost to be more specific with your audience, show that ad to people who are most likely to take action on that ad when they see it or not. So that gives you an idea of how Facebook works with the ads. I want to show you something that's a great little tool, a free tool you can use to really define your audience, because defining your audience is so important to get the most effectiveness out of your advertising. No matter what kind of ads you're doing, this is important. Not just Facebook, but Google AdWords or any type of advertising. You really, to the degree you can, you want to get the right demographic for your ads. That way you're not wasting money showing your ads to people who may not be interested in it. There's a website called Quantcast right here, QUANTCAST.com, Quantcast.com. And they don't have all websites in it, but you can usually find a website in your niche that they have what they've called, I forget the word they use, but it's something like quantified. All right? But what it does give you, and in this case, I've used Fodders.com, which is a large travel website, very large, well-known. It gives you the demographics of that website, which is very useful. So if we go for Fodders.com, if we go down here, we can see in the U.S., for example, most are female. All right, not quite double, but almost double female to male use this website. So we actually, this may be a smart move on our part to, as we did here, put women in instead of both men and women. Age groups. All right, this is 25 to 34. Let's. I think we did 35 to 65. Let's try 25 to 34 and see what that does, because that's going to hone it down quite a bit. So let's go 25. To 34. That brings the audience down to 460,000 people. Let's see what it did to the pay-per-click. Well, look at this. Interesting. Remember, it was up to around 30 cents before. Now it's back down to 25 cents per click. It actually went down even though we honed down the audience. This is why it's really good to look at this and see how you're going to get the cheapest ad to the best audience. So what you've done here is now you've not only gotten a better audience for your ad, but you've reduced your cost. Okay, so you can see, so now we're looking at, again, Los Angeles, which is where our, in this particular case, we're saying our primary audiences, age from 25 to 34 years old, women, English speakers. That's our primary demographic who have an interest in travel. That's going to be our ad, and that's how we're going to set it up, because that is giving us the most targeted audience for the least amount of money right here. So the last thing we want to do now is to put this back to optimize for page post engagement. If it were, if your original campaign objective was website clicks, you would see optimize for website clicks here, and that's it. I'm not going to talk about it in this budgeting, but there's different ways to do a budget. Make sure you are comfortable with the budget. The default is $5 per day. That you can take that up or down. You can also, another good thing you can do is, if you want to experiment with a couple of these, you could do optimize for impressions and do $5 there. For example, you could do some split tests. You could then do optimize, make an ad for optimize for clicks, use exactly the same ad, the same post, but watch as Facebook will give you reports on what it actually cost you per click or per engagement, and see which one is actually cheaper. You actually want to split test for different variables. You can do a split test on different posts. In other words, you can have one post that you turned into an ad with this one image. You can do another post with another image. Run, if you're going to, whatever you change, just change one thing. If it's the image, run 2, 3, or 3 ads, whatever you have budget for, with different images, but everything else the same audience, the same copy on your ad. By copy, I mean the text, the writing on your ad. If you're changing the way you bid, in that case, you'd be split testing 2 or 3 or how many ads you want. But you could use Facebook's default here as one ad. Do this for the second ad, do this for the third ad, optimize your clicks for the third ad, but keep everything else the same image, the same copy or text on your ad, the same budget, and you can compare them. That type of split testing is really good. You can also do the same thing with your audience. You could try, okay, let's do both male and female. Let's do a different age group and compare and see which ads are giving you the most response, which are the cheapest for you, the most effective. And Facebook gives you all that information. There are very good detailed reports. You can track the number of clicks. You can put tracking codes for conversions on your website to see how many people actually went from Facebook to your web page. You can do the conversions tracking code for that to see how many of those actually made a sale, actually bought something from the page, started out from the ad, went to your page, read the sales page, paid for it. You can do the same thing with the email opt-in list. So Facebook's really good about all the different options and ways you can track that. I highly recommend you do that. But that's it in a nutshell. Now you know how to get the cheapest Facebook ads possible, something that Facebook itself would never tell you. My name's Karl Gerber. Watch for more videos on how to advertise and promote your business using Facebook, Google AdWords, how to save money doing it, and how to do them most effectively. I've worked with many clients on Facebook advertising, social media marketing, and I've decided to share what I have learned and some of the things that I have found you aren't going to find from Facebook or most places on the web. So, subscribe to the channel if you would like to get more notifications of when I have new content coming out, which will be on a regular basis. And I also like the video. That'll help spread it around more. If you have some comments or questions, feel free to do that as well underneath the video. Thank you.